Let's go to another club, Rob, that's looking to build in a progressive way. Manchester United, home to Nottingham Forest.
Yep.
And Manchester United 2, Nottingham Forest 3. Great win for Forest. And I have to start this conversation, Rob, and I think it's important because I was reading online yesterday and listened to a couple of radios, and Forest fans were saying, we know United's a big club, we know Ruben Ammon's a massive signing, we know all the things that are going on, but we're Forest and we've just beaten them, and you're talking about Manchester United. And so I think we've got to give credit to Nottingham Forest, to Nuno, to what's been done at that football club, Rob, in terms of, Steve Cooper left and many thought, he had a great connection for what he'd done at the club, brought him up from the Championship and kept him in the Premier League. But, Nuno's come in and you have to say it has moved things on, a little bit more progressive, a little bit more, I think, attack-minded in terms of counter-attacks and how he can hurt people. Getting an absolute tune out of Chris Wood at the top end of the pitch. Defensively, well set up. I just think, we need to give some credit to a Forest team. I think the last time they won at Manchester United was 30 years ago. Sitting Stan Collymore, we played against, great player from the 90s, scored last time again at Old Trafford, and Chris Wood obviously gets the goal this time that gets them a 3-2 win. But before we start United, and there's a lot to get to on United, but a little bit of credit to Forest and what they've done and where they sit in the table, mate.
Tons of credit where this club has come from, Rob, and the struggles that it had, the points deductions, the signing all these players and having a big dressing room. Nuno Espirito Santo, what a good job he's done. Very close to getting my end appreciated. When we look at this, we're like, you sort of sometimes take a snapshot. Hang on a minute. Nottingham Forest are fifth. Fifth in the Premier League. This is insane for a team that some people thought were going to get relegated.
Yes, I know.
Was that you? Yeah, was you?
I was one of them. I was that lad.
I mean, what a way of finding a way to hack it together, Rob. He spent a ton of money, got himself into trouble. He went over the line. He pushed too far. But look, when it all shakes out, he's got a team now that's good enough to be a steady performer in the Premier League, and obviously outperforming at the moment. But what a good story that is. And an owner, again, a bit of a crazy owner.
I was going to say, Kamaranakis has to take a bit of credit as well, doesn't he? And by the way, nabbed Edu from Arsenal to look after his...
Looks like it. Is that done and dusted yet, Rob?
It looks like he's in. It looks like he's in. Yeah, he's already in. So, tons of credit to Forest and what they do and how they do it. And I think, Rob, just before we move on, I'm going to go to my underappreciated performer of the week, because before we go, and it's Nikola Milenkovic, my friend.
Oh, the big lad.
The big Serbian centre-back who they bought. And he's been on my radar a little while, and I've been keeping it. He nearly got it a couple of weeks ago. And then obviously with the goal at the weekend, little money in Premier League terms, like a pittance they paid for him, Rob, into around 20 million or something, that kind of money. Big, aggressive, wants to win. We're playing at Old Trafford yesterday, and maybe this is too big a comparison, but man, a bit of the Vidic type. No nonsense, centre forward, wants to head, wants to defend, wants to pull people around. He's got Murillo next to him, the Brazilian, who's
really good,
lively, good football, a nice left foot, really good balance between them.
Yeah, good back four is.
Really good back four that's been built up with Aina one side and Moreno often on the left-hand side. It's a really, really good back four. And I was looking at the back two yesterday, Rob, and I said, I'm not sure I'd swap any of the Manchester United back three for any of them, mate.
Agreed.
That's how good they've been. And Milenkovic has been quietly going about his business in a really good manner. And as you say, they've got a good defence, good defensive record. And I just think he's one of those players who goes a little bit out of the radar. Chris Wood gets the goals and Gibbs White, lovely footballer, good on the eye. I don't think he quite gets it enough of a mention, Milenkovic at the back.
No, I think people at Forest appreciate him, Rob. I think I think they realise these two centre backs are like, wow, we got something really good here. And again, it goes back to recruitment. Whether it's Gibbs White or Hudson-Odoi or Ante Alanga, or Chris Wood, and others that have been there for a while, like Ryan Yates. Love watching him in midfield. I think he's an all-action, brilliant player for the club. So again, a club that took a bit of time, but they've made a lot of good signings. You have to make good signings. You have to sign players that can not just survive but thrive in the Premier League, and they've shown they've got many of them. So it's right we spend a little bit of time in Nottingham Forest because it's a legendary club, mate. It's a proper football club, been around forever.
It'd be great to see him back in Europe, wouldn't it? Some kind of European competition,
amazing.
whatever it is. It'd be brilliant to see Forest back in there. So let's move it to Manchester United, mate, because here was the story. Here was Amorim looking to take the next step. Putting 4 goals past Everton was one thing, but taking on a team that's well set up and organised with a goal threat as well. What were your thoughts on United, and where do you think Mr. Amorim's got to go?
Yeah, lots of thoughts on United, mate. I enjoyed the way that they started. There was talk about, this looks a bit more like it. The team, is this the best back three? Is this the best wing backs? Is this the best kind of front players? We've got Nacho playing, Ahmad playing, and it was Rasmus Højlund up front, wasn't it?
Top,
and I enjoyed like the way that they played. I like what he's doing. It's
4-3 in that, because some are suggesting whether that's got to go or
I think it's like, and I tweeted out, Rob, I sort of said that this is like Man United strip bare, is what I said, right, in my social media post. They're like strip bare. Okay, here we go. This is the system that we want to play. My philosophy is to be open and expansive. We want wingers to get out there. I want 3 centre backs to split. I want 2 central midfield players. And I want 2 behind the 1. Go out there and play. Let's see how you can do it, because there's going to be spaces to play in. Right, and there's going to be spaces that the opponents have got. Who's got the energy to stop them when they use the space? Can we use the space well? What do we like on the ball? He is getting a first-hand look at his squad. He's changed different spots. I like the football steadily got better. I know it's nowhere near what he wants, but at least they possess now. At least you can see the shape now. And some players in it look comfortable and are going to excel and going to please him. Others are not. In terms of where it went wrong, second half, they've got a problem defensively, Rob. Man United, they might not be very good defensively as individuals. And again, you see it when they're laid bare. When they're out there, there's no deep defensive block that protects like Ten Hag used, other people have used at Man United. We ain't doing that. He ain't doing it. You get out there and show me you can play. You can go man to man, that you don't get caught, that you can be aggressive, you can win duels. They're not doing this deep block and counter attack. No. He wants to be open, expansive to see who can do it and who can't. And he's learning a lot. And I think defensively will be his biggest worry. But again, I don't expect him. I don't want him. And I don't think United fans want to, well, hang on a minute. We should play, 5 and really, no, keep doing what you're doing, because you're going to learn things about who can come on you this journey and who's not going to come with you. So that's, Lenny Yoro looks good. He's going to get better. Matthias De Ligt worries me. De Ligt worries me. Rob, to be honest with you, at this level, in this Premier League, when you haven't got a ton of protection around you, you're asked to defend one-on-one. I'm worried about him. I think I like Mazraoui. For me, he's got to be in a team, because he wasn't in it, was he? It wasn't him. Lisandro Martinez, again, another one. Is he good enough? Yoro's a little bit. It's a bit early for him. He's just come into the team. But then you got Dallo, and wow, like he's learning a lot, Rob. I like the signs of the football. That's what. So I'm enjoying I'm going to enjoy this experiment all the way through, and I hope doesn't become any pressure or any we've got to get. Let's just keep doing what you're doing, because it's steadily going to get. It's going to like he said. This is the whole thing about the storms coming. And the storm coming means we're going to have some take some beatings probably, because I'm not going to protect them. I'm going to throw them out there and see what they can do. And some of them look good.
There was a big old storm this weekend as well. In England, It's interesting because I wrote some key words down, and you've kind of stole my thunder. Every game for Manchester United is now an experiment, my friend. It's an experiment. Every game is learning and a fact-finding mission, is my line. They're going to be a few difficult days, but they're going to have to come through them. And I wrote this line. I don't know if it totally sums it up, but I'll explain what I'm saying. Answers to questions are more important than results at the moment. So answer the question, is he good enough? Is this, does he fit there? Those things, Rob, moving forward are more important than a 1-win or 2-1 win and you're scratching people on that. He's got to start to find the ones who are going to go with him on the journey and the ones who aren't. And the other big thing I wrote down, Rob, and it's funny, I wrote one thing. This team cannot defend. No. Good teams, all the best teams, come from a base of defence. The Arsenal teams we've just seen, the Man City teams, as great as they are going forward, can defend. The Chelsea teams of the past have seen, the Arsenal teams, the Liverpool teams, all have, best defences or great thing. This team can't defend. whatever else is a problem with the midfield, with the attack, whether it's three, whether it's one, who's in front, this team can't defend. Can't defend set pieces is a joke.
It's another set piece goal.
I mean, go and get a set piece guy, Jim Ratcliffe. You've got this $1 billion ever. Go and get a set piece guy if that's what it's going to take, because they can't defend set pieces. They don't, as you say, individually defend well, and at times as a group. Now I know it's a new system and it's three at the back, but these players, a lot of these players worry me, mate. A lot of these players, I'm not sure you're going to be able to get through to the position you want, where you can rely on this back three to go one-on-one with three attackers and hold their own. Well,
that's the key point, Rob, isn't it? And this is meant to be close to being their best three. So that's a bit of a concern. I think Kobbie Mainoo has got to liven up his defensive determination. Look a little bit like Lavia and Caicedo, a bit more aggression. He's a lovely footballer, and he's very young, of course. He's part of the future for sure. I think Ugarte is going to be okay, Rob, and I think he's decent on the ball. He's decent on the ball. He's a grafter. He can work a little bit. I did like Ahmad and Bruno down the right-hand side. So that was one thing I noted. Those two. So Ahmad's one that's like, he's going to be on the journey. He's going to be part of it. I like Rasmus Højlund. I just like his energy. So I think there's parts that looks good, and there's parts that cause for concern as well. And I think that's, it is going to take time. It is going to be a situation where he's going to need certain people for certain spots. Just once before we get onto the main story that came out about Man United, Rob. Just on Marcus Rashford, because he didn't make the lineup, and it is starting to look a little bit difficult, Rob, where he is going to fit in with this system. So I'll go through them with you. Is he going to be a right wing back? Would you trust him as a wing back in the system?
No.
Okay. No. Do you like him as a little one of the two little 10 number 10s, a right 10 or a left 10?
Not really. I don't personally. I mean, he's played off that left side and done reasonably well and scored goals, so he can drift in field. But I'm not sure tactically
he's reliable in
his roles in getting in positions. When the team's set up. Not sure that's his. I mean, I think it's the 9 or not for him. I think it's the 9 or not, and maybe he's a backup 9 if he's not producing enough. A fit and on top of his game, Marcus Rashford, top of the pitch, will get goals and can be an asset. But he's got to be playing at his top level, and I don't know if consistently he's able to do that now.
I'll tell you what I did like, Rob, and I'll ask the Man United fans to go back and look at the goal they scored. Was it Rasmus Højlund's goal? The goal that they scored.
Oh, the build-up play.
The build-up play. Bruno dropped off the line in the little 10. He plays it through to Garnacho's running behind. That's the future. That's going to be what Amorim's going to try and get more of these play through. There's a quality. One of the 10s comes deep. One of them goes in behind, which Rashford could do, to be fair, if it was him. That was like a lovely team goal. And that's what United, I think, will, in these losses and these tough moments, just remember that goal and enjoy that goal, because that's got, I think, when things get better, that's the sort of football and penetration you're going to see. But again, I'll say it one more time. I know it's a bit of a mess at the moment, but I can definitely, I'm enjoying seeing a team with real shape, a real structure, and it's much better. Ultra at home, dominating the ball and moving the ball well. It's just going to take.
It's just going to be fascinating to see how he constructs this and how he builds it into. I'm saying start of next season we'll start to see a team that's more built in his image and playing the way he would want it to play. I think that's how we've got to get to the end of the season. Make some decisions on people, get a few people in you want, have a pre-season, and then
figure out defensive. Rob, he's got to
figure out.
That's got to get better quickly because it's too vulnerable.
Some other big news that came out of Manchester United, my friend. So Dan Ashworth was the guy they wanted in. There was a director of football role. There was a long gardening leave from Newcastle. There was talk about a lot of money to get him in the place.
Conversation.
They get their man. Eventually, he comes in, paid all the money that was required. And then weeks virtually since he's been in the football club, and it's been decided, I believe, by mutual consent. But it seems as though Manchester United haven't been totally happy with the way things have gone. Dan Ashworth has left. Now, this is obviously a blow to Ruben Amorim, because obviously Ashworth would have had a say in coming in. They would have talked about what they're wanting to do in the future. How does this happen, Rob? How does Manchester United get themselves in this situation?
Well, there's so much here that we don't know about, Rob. First off, let's just recap Ineos, right? Let's recap Ineos's decisions. First decision, Eric Ten Hag, win the FA Cup. Okay, he's the man. He's the man we're going to have going forward. For the club to fire him a few months later with a huge compensation payout that he's had to make. Big error. Yeah. Okay, we carry on. You then get the guy that you headhunted, and that was a very experienced guy. That's what's worried about this, Rob, for me, is like, this guy is such an experienced guy. And everybody speaks so highly of Dan Ashworth, the guy that they wanted, they paid money for. And then 5 months later, like, he's not the right fit. Weird. I'll ask you, is there anything that Ruben Amorim might have said to the hierarchy that, you know what, I know I have my favorites of directors that might be a good idea? Is there something in that, Rob? Was there fallout? Was it? Is it? I mean, the signings. It's too early to kind of judge. Ashworth on the signings that he made, because some of those look pretty good. Mazraoui's done really well, and Zux is, there's a bit of future in him. And
I would feel it awkward if you're saying that you think the manager's word is stronger, and you know, to them, the sporting director is part of the setup.
I know.
There's the structure in the setup.
Yeah. Okay.
So, you know, if a manager comes in and does well, great, and we'll go. If the manager doesn't go in well, you know, then we have. But I just can't think. My worry, Rob, is that we're Ineos taking Dan Ashworth because of all the things that you talked about, and you know, he has a great reputation. Did they take him on reputation rather than actually what he can do or what they think he can do? And have they found out after, like, well, he isn't as good as this as I thought, or this hasn't worked as much as I thought? I just find it all that you take so long. You know, Ineos is supposed to be the people who, you know, are brilliant at setting up the structures and putting the right people in place.
Well, they're not. They've had a bad start, Rob.
Well,
they've had a bad start. They're not in positions.
They're not in football. That's the point. Football is a totally different business to all the other things he's done. A totally different business, mate. And if you're going to just apply all those things you've done in your other businesses and think you can do them in football, we've seen many people with lots of money who've tried the same thing and it doesn't work. Remember, Aston Villa had a guy a few years ago with tons of money and it was going to do it a certain way.
Yeah, Randy Lerner.
What happened to that?
Yeah, it's astonishing to me that the two major footballing positions were Ineos picks, and they basically admitted mistakes just a few months after. And then you could throw on top of that the amount of staff. Maybe they had to cut a lot of staff from Old Trafford.
Well, they cut, they cut a lot, which is it's not good, Rob. They stopped Sir Alex Ferguson. Apparently, they end up that relationship, or as it was. The things that have not been done well by doing that. And apparently, and let's remember, if this was the Glazers, we'd be all jumping on it now.
Absolutely,
so we shouldn't not be jumping on it because it's Jim Ratcliffe and he's, you know, the boy from Manchester and he's saving his club. They've made some really poor decisions.
Yeah, they've had a bad start, and the whole point is to bring stability and expertise to the playing side of it. And at the moment, we have just not seen it. You throw in there the ticket prices that have been increased midway through the season, which is very unpopular with the support, and a few other things. Now, it's just an observation, mate, that we're taking a note of. Like, wow, what a weird one that was when I heard that, you know, this morning when I woke up and heard that news. Like, wow, like, you know, get some. And you give them time, and everybody makes mistakes, Rob. But this is two now of the big positions of head coach and technical or sporting director that were, I guess, mistakes. Let's see what they do to correct it. But just to try and finish on a positive, I do like what Ruben Amorim's, the way he's talked, what he says, and what he's doing to try and, you know, find a path to getting this club back where it deserves to be again. But it's wow, with what's going on upstairs, I'm just surprised. I thought it'd be stable.
Well, he's going to have to keep his focus on what he can, Rob, and that's the stuff that's going on the football pitch.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host of NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And if you want even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock.